So here I am. I think I'm about 27, 28. Everything is going well. And I love electronics. So I'm one of them, stay on top of all the latest and, gadgets. Stuff be moving a little fast for me today. But so I had this little device hooked up on my office where I could answer this phone and hear and let the people in because I was upstairs, my showroom. And I can also hear outside. And one of the women that I had supported, her child was in college, so she was much older. She was old enough to be a mother. She probably would say auntie, but a mother to me, because me and her son he was a little older than me.
Wow.
So anyway, I was helping her. He had decided to go back to school. I was making sure she had everything she needed financially. And she was outside. I heard her on this little phone thing, telling everybody, all the people who came out, she waited for them and told them, don't do business with me.
What?
That she was going to start her own and she could do it bigger and better.
Good idea, now we buying merch. That's ghetto. Payment miss. Ooh, the ghetto. Say she quit. Ooh, the ghetto. Late on your rent. Rent is ghetto. New event. Ooh, the ghetto. Invoice in. That ain't ghetto. Money spin. Oh, that's ghetto. Hold on, it's kind of ghetto being a CEO.
Welcome back to another episode of the Ghetto CEO Podcast, where we talk about all things CEO. A lot of times, people only show you the good parts about being a CEO, but I want people to know that there is a whole nother thing behind the curtain, right? I want you to, when you get into being a CEO, that there is good days, but there are also bad days. And we cry, we bleed, we do all the things as well. But entrepreneurship can truly be a passion, but you have to lean in. So here at the podcast, we give you the raw and unfiltered truth behind being a CEO. And so today we have literally have a living legend on the couch. My mentor, my friend, Dr.Traci. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So glad to be on the couch.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about that and manifestation.
Yes.
I didn't even know how it worked. I didn't know you had a date scheduled and you had all of, the cameras, the equipment, the people. I mean, who knew?
Yeah.
But I just knew that our day would come to do this.
Yes. And I'm really excited about this because we get to talk about your story all the time. We get to talk about the good and the bad of entrepreneurship. But Dr. Traci, let them know. I need you to just let them know for a little bit who you are and what you do and what you have done.
So I actually built a brand, a fashion jewelry brand with $200 and took that brand to $100 million. Yes. And that's wholesale.
Yes.
So, and with over 100,000 independent women consultants, very few men, but 99.9% women. And to build that sales force with no IG, no Facebook, and we didn't even, the internet was still like, so we were coming from there. Yeah. But it was all about touching the people and really understanding people and then getting them involved in a business that would make them money.
Yes. I think that's your superpower though. Yeah. Your superpower is community and connecting people. Yes. Where did you learn this skill?
When I was a little girl, 4 years old, my grandmother sold clothes and accessories for a living. And so I would go with her. And instead of going to daycare, she took me every day and I saw relationship building. The people liked her. And I realized that they did business with her because they liked her. Yeah. They knew she had great style. Yeah. And they trusted her ability for fashion and to clothe them. So they trusted her. Know, like, and trust. So I learned that at 4 years old.
Right.
And I watched how she did that thing so smooth and authentic because she really had a heart for the people. And I've watched people do it in a bad way. They don't have no heart for the people. They want to fleece the people. I saw her with her heart. So I knew she was the real deal because I saw her at home and out in the street.
But fashion been in your blood then.
Fashion's been in my blood since her mother. Her mother bootleg liquor down south.
Period.
Yes. So she was a strong entrepreneur, bootlegger.
Yes.
Then she got her act together and moved to New York. So she grew up in Harlem, her mother, and was really big on the fashion scene, sold clothes, and she was big in Harlem. And then my grandmother learned that. So it's been in the blood.
Yeah.
My mother's good with fashion and design. So, yeah, it's a bloodline thing.
Listen, then fast forward, you created a $100 million business from a $200 investment.
Yes.
Listen, so what was one of the hardest lessons that you had to learn through? I know it was a lot, but like one of the most memorable lessons.
Okay, so we're going to do, the funny thing is, there is no one memorable because every stage there was another one. So I think the most memorable, if we have to use that word and go there, would be in my early days when I was afraid to be Taci Lynn. And I'll explain it. People would say, "Are you Taci Lynn?" I would say no.
Why?
Because I had an incident.
Okay.
When I was selling in my home, and all the ladies found out because I was Taci Lynn, they stopped buying. And I was in the middle of renovating my house, my kitchen. Okay. And so they got on the porch and all decided to do a walkout on me because they weren't going to fix up my kitchen.
Wait, so they were coming in your home to buy the jewelry.
They would buy it. At this point, I was doing clothes and a little jewelry.
Okay.
So they were coming in because I was doing my grandmother clothes. Yeah. So they were coming in, buying it, making a profit for them, but they stopped seeing what they were making and they were too busy focused on my new kitchen.
And they were like, she making too much money out here.
That's right. Yeah. So it shut me down for about 6 months, went into a deep depression.
Okay.
Then came out. Thank God for that. Came out to decided to do jewelry in the house for a limited time and set goals on a piece of paper. That's why it's important to write the vision down. Habakkuk 2:2. Write it down, make it plain. Yes. So when you read it and the forces that come to support you, everybody's on the same page. So I wrote that thing down. 6 months I was going to be out in a location, and I was. And I did jewelry because jewelry was one size fit all. Yeah. I didn't have no returns on the side.
Right.
So my first month was almost 16,000, and I had never seen that. So I came from straight depressed state, and was moving quick, and I decided not to reveal my identity. I was only 26 years old, or at this point, I wasn't even 26 because I made my first million by the time I was 25. Yeah. So I was like 23 going on 24. Yeah. So I decided to shield myself. I'm an only child, came from some good folks, raised by, these single women. And I wasn't ready for the wolves. Right. I knew they existed. Right. I'm straight from Detroit, Philadelphia, so I understand that. Yes. But I just didn't, people I was helping. So anyway, I decided not to be the real me.
Wow. What's up, coworker? Don't you want to link together and get a live podcast experience of this Ghetto CEO podcast? Wouldn't you love to see Cody on the couch and your favorite entrepreneurs here in Atlanta? Well, you got to tap in and come to our happy hour live podcast experience December 16th of this year. Yes, December 16th, 2023. We are doing a live Ghetto CEO podcast. And guess what, y'all? I'm bringing some of y'all to the couch. All you got to do is click the link below and you can either get your ticket or get on the wait list so that you can be able to get on this couch. Make your plans, grab your flights, get your rooms, because listen, the Ghetto CEO Live Podcast is not something that you want to miss. So December 16th, I want to see you guys there. Listen, last time we had the drinks flowing, we had the vibes going, we had a little dance, we had bars and all the things. So get in the room for the next Ghetto CEO Live Podcast, and I'll see you guys there. Now back to the episode. And so this was coming from that trauma of those women seeing what you were doing, not even really understanding what was happening, but they just made their own narrative. And then you like, okay, now I need to shrink.
I need to shrink. Wow. And so people would come. And my whole family little meeting came up to my office. Why are people saying you, Taci Lynn? I know you're not. So I have family. Yeah. And they said I wasn't Traci Lynn. It was now my middle name is Lynn.
I'm about to say, it's your name, not
this
Lynn.
is my name is Traci with the ILYNN.
That's so
That
funny.
is my name, but the family, because nobody could believe that I could start because the jewelry was taken off. In the house, I was at $16,000 a month.
Yeah.
So by the time I came out, by the end of the year, I had already made $1 million, and I didn't start until June.
Wow. And you, when you first started the business, you started with the consultants?
I did.
Okay.
Because I read Mary Kay's book about build it with people. When you have a heart for people, this is how you can do it.
That's good.
And so I read that book, and I believed it. So I copied what was in the book.
Yeah.
And look, you can just copy the right cat.
Okay. Yes.
So I said, now this is a woman I can copy. And I did. And I did some of those things, and I naturally had the ability to draw. I naturally had the ability to care.
Yeah.
And more important, to see.
Right.
I can see you.
Yeah.
From the moment I met you, I saw you. When you came in my group talking about you, I saw you. You realize I see you, though, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I can repeat stuff that you say. I know what you eating, them lamb chops.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yes.
So that is a part of my superpower. So, but I was too afraid I was going to lose it all. So I actually did an article for the Philadelphia Inquirer and used my married name of my ex-husband at the time, used his name and wouldn't use Lynn. And they did a big article.
And still, nobody at this time knew you had made this $1 million at 25, something iconic, right?
Yes.
And nobody knew it was you.
No.
Not even your family. That is hilarious.
No, except for my immediate family.
Yeah.
And they were getting paid. They didn't care. Like, be
like,
who
we
you
keep
need
quiet.
to be. Right. But once I won the Madam C.J. Walker Award, I had to be me. This was an iconic woman who over 100 years ago was a multimillionaire in direct sales. So I studied her life.
Okay.
And I decided, you know what? I'm going to make history.
Yeah.
I cannot make history, and I can't be me and show up authentically as me. I can't defend when it's got to be me. These got to be my experiences to be authentic, defend it, and grow it.
Yeah.
So I decided to step in it.
Yeah. So what clicked for you when you were like, okay, I gotta be me? What were your next steps? Did you just because you couldn't make a social media post and be like, it's me. So what did you do?
Everybody that came into my showroom, I said, listen, I want to tell you something. I haven't been saying this me, but I am Traci Lynn. And I told people one by one. And it felt like I was doing this major confession. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Yeah, right. I could have made an album. I could have been in a confessional. That's how intense it was. And I was only like 26 at this point.
Yes.
And I had to, but I had to get it off. I had to get it out.
And one thing that I told you when we first met, and I said one thing that I gravitated me towards you is because I made my first $1 million at 26, and no, it's not a lot of people that can really understand the pressure of making so much money so young and really not understanding business, Right. And what did that look like for you? Like, you're 26, you're growing up as a woman, you're becoming and stepping into your full power. What did that feel like? What did that look like for you?
So even I had to step out in that power, but also my marriage was ending. I married a little younger. I married the dress, not the man.
Yeah.
So my marriage, I was growing. I was becoming. I was getting confident.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready for all that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't the real me, remember?
Right.
So
now you done got all this attention, this power.
Come
He
on
like,
now. Yes. So it was all of those things, and not having any role models. I had no mentors I had to read the books. So I had to read about Madam Walker. I had to read the Mary Kay. I didn't have any associations to go to.
Yeah.
So it was hard.
Right.
And I didn't have family members who had made $1 million. And then I had most of the people didn't believe I made $1 million.
And it's like, now you gotta you trying to prove yourself to yourself. Come out, become it, and then everybody is questioning.
Yes. And I'm going through this divorce.
Yeah.
So it's so much turmoil.
Yeah.
And then, once that is over, then the big rock happens. And I ain't talking about no ring. So
What
it was
happened?
like, so here I am. I think I'm about 27, 28. everything is going well, and I love electronics. So I'm one of them, stay on top of all the latest and, gadgets. Stuff be moving a little fast for me today. But so I had this little device hooked up on my office where I could answer this phone and hear and let the people in, because I was upstairs, my showroom. And I can also hear outside. And one of the women that I had supported, her child was in college, so she was much older. She was old enough to be a mother. She probably would say auntie, but a mother to me, because me and her son he was a little older than me.
Wow.
So anyway, I was helping her. He had decided to go back to school. I was making sure she had everything she needed financially. And she was outside. I heard her on this little phone thing, telling everybody, all the people who came out, she waited for them and told them, don't do business with me.
What?
That she was going to start her own, and she could do it bigger and better.
Then what?
And so that, you know that it was like a dagger. Yeah. And I'm a child compared to this 40-something-year-old woman.
Right.
I just couldn't even believe it. So I put her out the business. I knew enough to do that.
Yeah.
But I just had no desire.
Yeah. But this wasn't your first time that you felt this disappointment from people.
This is the second iteration.
Yeah.
So my business has gone through, it wasn't until the third iteration when I came back stronger and better. But I let it go. I shut it down.
You shut the whole business down?
I shut the whole business down.
Wow.
Because I figured if I got to go through this, helping people, trying to do my thing, and then, then people were coming to me, I'm going to do my own jewelry. I would see everybody up in New York. That's, I live close to New York. I would get my jewelry. But one thing that I forgot, what God has for you and what you are anointed to do, nobody could walk in those shoes. No. I forgot that.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
So I let people talk me out of my dream and destiny. That's why I'm here today. Because I want to make sure nobody talks your listeners and viewers out of their dream and destiny. Don't let it happen, because you won't even know them people.
Right.
5 years from now, you done gave up your dream, destiny, and your money, and you don't even know the people. You know that sounds crazy.
Yes, because probably to this day, you don't even know these ladies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I did, but I met my current husband, who's my husband now of 29 years.
Yes.
So he encouraged me, like, I know you're not gonna let this go. And plus, he had heard about the millions I was making. He's like, I want to see this.
Right.
So I started the third iteration.
Okay.
And
but one thing I love, before you tell that part, one thing I love, I keep hearing, is you keep coming back.
What?
And coming back bigger and stronger than
Every time, like a phoenix, baby. Yeah. I can go down to the dust, and I'm going to come back bigger, stronger, reinvent.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going out like that.
Yes.
So he encouraged me, got me back on track, and then Taci Lynn Fashion Jewelry, the way it was, it was born.
So you come back, you start to build this tribe, this community of 100,000 women. Like, how did you even, what was your mindset going into this third iteration? And then what are some of the things you started to change, even either internally or physically in the business, to not go through what you went in those first two iterations?
First of all, I believed now. I knew it, any Matrix people, what, once Neo believed, he could stop the bullets with his hands. Right. So I believed. Yeah. All of a sudden, I believed, and I knew it was my place to do it. So that was the main thing, mindset. Had to get my mindset right and my money mindset right. So I believed. And then the second thing was, I didn't let people get that close in my ear that I was going to believe them. So I had to watch what I let in and who I let in. Because there are people who want to get close to you just because who you are. And then for me to have to grin and bear, I'm not phony. Woo-hoo! That's the hardest thing. Woo! Honey, that was a lesson. How do I laugh when the phonies are coming? I could see them a mile away. I don't like phony.
And now you're able to realize who they are now. You can see them.
I can see them.
Yeah.
And that's not always easy because then I want to act different. But my money's involved. So, but my heart knows how to handle it.
Right.
And I don't play.
Yeah.
I shut down drama immediately. I'm not the kind that will turn my back and I handle that right away. Because if you don't set limits and boundaries, people will set them for you. So I didn't play. So I don't care if the money seemed like it was walking out the door. You didn't make me, you weren't going to break me.
Yeah.
So my money wasn't really walking out the door.
Right. Have you been completely isolating yourself in business? Like you don't have people that you could do this business with. Well, you need coworkers, and that is why we created the Entrepreneurs Coworkers Community. This allows you to be able to develop relationships with other people in your community. So in the Entrepreneurship Coworkers Community, we have a complete Slack channel where you get to talk to other CEOs just like you. We give you a quiz to find out who you are and what type of CEO you are. And in this quiz, you get to meet other CEOs that may be more creative or traditional or hybrid. We have these CEOs there for you. But even taking it up a notch, we have local chapters in your city, from Atlanta to Dallas to New York to Houston to Chicago, chapters in your city where we're actually linking up every single month to work together, linking up to go to brunch together, having fun together, doing community service outreach. Like this is a section of our life where we can really co-work and mingle with other people. It's time for you to get some coworkers, sis. And this community is completely free. Just because you're watching this podcast, all you have to do is stop, pause the podcast, click the link below, take the assessment, get in the community, and I'll see you there. Bye, coworker. Back to the episode. And you, so with these hundreds of thousands of people, I know you went through quite, because
Well, before you get to that, can we talk about some of the good stuff?
oh,
Shucks.
what was some of the good? You like, oh Lord,
Right.
Jesus.
Well, the good thing was when I came back into the business, because I learned so much, I decided to build it more organic.
Okay.
So I did this grassroots organic method, which is if you weren't in where I could drive to you in an hour and a half, you couldn't join my business.
Oh wow. Okay.
I had to touch you. I had to practice what I thought I knew.
Yeah.
So I had to be able to touch. And because I built it with, my group, my first 10, my first 100. And then you couldn't, everybody had cousins out of the state they wanted to join. Nope, you had to be in my driving distance so I could go. And I did all the meetings, all the training in the beginning because I had to get my community built, my sticky factor built with my community. And I believed that if I could do that, I would make history.
Ooh, so at this point, what year is this? What year are we in now?
Oh, all right. What year are we in? We're in the 2000s.
Okay.
I took a long break. It wasn't like 2 years. It was almost
like 10.
Yeah, almost.
Oh, wow. Wow. So what did you do in that gap?
I became a professional speaker. I started traveling with Les Brown.
Yeah.
I was his opening speaker.
I love
Yes,
that. I love
and selling
that.
his products. If you can't serve other people, and if you can't submit what you do to learn some things, you can't be great.
One thing that I do love about you is that you're always in the seat and learning. It doesn't matter what you have accomplished, what you do. You literally, I heard you tell a story about you started a beauty brand and then you went to school to learn it.
I did. I went to school and actually got a license. I became a licensed esthetician. So when I hired my chemist, I knew what I was talking about. So I got the license and I even went further to learn chemical makeup.
Yeah.
What compounds work really well together. So I wanted to learn the scientific aspect of the beauty brand. Absolutely.
Most people wouldn't do that.
Well, listen, if I'm going to put my name and my money behind it, I need it to work and I want to know it.
Yeah.
I want to learn it. So I love learning.
I love that. So, okay, going back, we in the early 2000s, you've been on stages, you did all the things.
Yes.
What was your thought process of, okay, now I need to start again. Like I dropped something that I really shouldn't have dropped.
Because everybody kept coming to me on the stage saying, I need you to mentor me. We're going way back.
Yeah.
I need to, how do I do? So I said, you know what? I need to pick the jewelry back up as the vehicle. And that will be the vehicle. What I'm really selling is personal development disguised in a jewelry business.
Yeah.
So that's what I was really selling, was that personal development and care. and sisters being able to really support and really be there for each other. That's what I was selling.
I love that. So now we've started the jewelry business. How many consultants did you start with?
I started with I would go into the hair salons and get them. So maybe 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I built it
you
up on
You
5.
went one by one to build.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
And they were all invited
to
join me. And I went one by one. And then I had 5, then I had 10, and then I taught them how to recruit. And we only recruited in those states.
Wow. So now we're building this business. It's getting big. This baby is going from a baby to a toddler.
Yes.
Now what?
Now we at Stacy 2000.
Okay.
So that's what I called my 2000 consultant,
Okay.
Stacy 2000. She still goes by that name on Instagram.
Yes.
And once I get 2000, I'm ready. I've learned, I've grown, and now I'm ready to launch it to the world. And I have 2000 consultants.
Right.
And here we go. And then it just doubled and doubled. And we celebrate every milestone. Celebrate 3,000, 4,000. Every time I would send out something to celebrate. And I would just get them buy-in. Then I would have the conferences twice a year to launch new catalogs. And I called them the launch.
Okay.
So I would have 2 launches a year. And we would launch a new catalog. And people would come to the launch just to see Black women loving on each other.
Yes.
And then they would walk the stage with, their shoes. And then I got into, eventually, letting them walk out, whatever promotions, started adding promotions and training and celebrating them. Then trips, people would die for those trips I would get.
I can only imagine. I'm thinking, because I'm also thinking about the time frame of all of this. This is before we got, you see it more now, right? But early 2000s, we're not seeing Black women coming together, having a blast and loving each other like that. Since Madam Walker, I am the only woman who started a direct selling company with consultants. I'm the only one. Still to this day, from 100 years ago. Yes,
so no, we don't see it. That's why people would come to my events. I would thousands. I didn't even have really that many that were coming. I didn't even have them in the business.
Right.
Because they wanted to see it.
Yeah.
We were making history.
Right.
We were making history. And when you make history, you're going to have people who are going to be on the right side of history and those who are going to be on the wrong. So I've had experiences with people who were on the wrong side trying to destroy.
Right.
When you're building a network of women like that, have mercy. And it's a volunteer sales force.
Right.
Woo, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get some of everybody, and it ain't gonna be your avatar of what you want, in a person.
Because you gotta go wide. Now it's like I can't be, like you started. I'm choosing the people.
I had no choice.
Yeah.
Applications were coming, 300 a week, 600. 1,000 in a month, 2,000 in a month, and just doubling. So I couldn't see it. So I started traveling to the, getting some chapters, going to different states so I can lay eyes. I still had to find a way to be sticky. We had no Facebook. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have any of that. So I had to find a way to still connect, to find the faithfulness in those who will make sure that things were done the Taci Lynn way. And not Dr.Traci way, but the Taci Lynn way.
And we're going to talk about this because this is this the 4th iteration? Like this is the next season.
It is the next season, but I've been training for this season my whole life.
Yep, because you just said when you were with Les Brown, people had already started to see that in you.
Already started to see it, and I had no vehicle for them.
Yeah.
And coaching, and Les wasn't doing coaching. He was just out on the stage getting it. And folks was throwing money, so I thought that was going to be my profession. I never seen people throw credit cards, trying to get the products.
Right.
And, all tapes. We didn't know, it wasn't even CDs. It were tape cassettes.
Right.
So to see that, and for me to serve, because I spoke, I would open, and then I come back and sell his product. And was glad to do it.
Yes, the season of serving. And I think, one thing I tell people about my story is I started my business at 19, but from when I got to Atlanta at 21, from like 21, which is about 2017 to about 2020, I was working in the agency capacity and I was serving. And I feel like everybody needs a serving season.
They do.
You have to have one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You must have a serving season so that you remember, always remember what it's like to serve. Yeah. So people will meet me all the time and say, I didn't know you had, or I didn't know you were. Well, because I don't walk around with that. Yeah. Because I love to serve.
Yeah.
So it's important that you serve. It keeps you where you need to be.
Absolutely.
Because anything can happen. I've been to the top, down to the bottom, and had to make my way back several times. Yeah. So I don't take that for granted.
What did it look like? You said you've been to the top and got down to the bottom. What did they look like for you?
Well, it looked like I was believing my own press is what it looked like. Because I was in Essence Magazine and some Black Enterprise and some stuff. I was like, girl.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when it's all gone, that's what it looks like. And depression sets in, and nobody's talking about depression back then. No. We weren't talking about these mental health little episodes. Yeah. So it looked bad. That's what it looked like. Yeah. And I'm just grateful, for God and praying people to bring me back. Yeah. To get me back on track.
I love that. And like I said, this allowed you, one, I keep hearing your story, but I keep seeing parts of the things, the lessons that you learned from the first iteration, the second iteration, you bring it into this now.
Exactly. And I didn't know about this now because sometimes you just got to walk out the season you're in. Yeah. And I was 100% in. Yeah. And I was in for the people. Yes. I love the people. Yes. But that's where I also learned how to be careful with the love with the people. Yeah. I learned some things. Yeah. I learned some valuable lessons, but I didn't know it was going to lead to this iteration. Right. And someone just left a voice note today saying, hey, I want you to come and be a part of some event she's having. And the main thing was, you did this and that, but I love how you reinvent. Because when you've got something to say, when you are iconic, it doesn't die with whatever you were doing.
Absolutely.
You still got more in you to do.
Right. And one thing that you also talk about is that you have to know that you're iconic. Like, you got to believe that you are iconic. But even with you saying like you're for the people, it's amazing to me because I can see it now, right? I can see how you are for the people. And you could have left the people where they was at several times. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. Several times you could have just be like, y'all know, I'll keep y'all over there.
Yep. And, I was meeting with this one girl. I was going to tell her all my secrets of where I shopped. And we were going to meet at Olive Garden. This is way back in the day. And I went to one Olive Garden and she went to another. And within a month, I was back in. It was my third iteration. So we were supposed to meet and never did. Yeah. And it was never for that because I had another iteration of jewelry to do.
You didn't even know.
I had no idea.
You didn't even know. Nope. I love that. So before we wrap this up,
we got to wrap up already?
they like 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. We just getting started.
Good, right? It's getting good. Getting good. Whew. But one thing I want you to talk about, what is like one mistake or one thing you would want to share with the audience of what they need to know from your story?
Well, hopefully they've heard so much. Yeah. And when you start making money, it is important. I'm talking to all the iconic entrepreneurs out there, the future millionaires. That's why they watching to pick up something. Yes. Let me tell you something. You had a woman on here talking about your taxes. Yes. Pay your taxes. Right. That's one of them things. Because we get that hustle mentality and everything's underground. Then you can't buy nothing because everything's underground. Right. And then when the IRS come to audit you, they going for your underground stuff. Yep. They know how to look at all the Cash App and all your
the things.
All the things. Right. So I would say I almost got myself in trouble by not knowing how to position myself financially. I needed, so I travel with 3 to 5 lawyers on retainer. Wow. Right now, I'm not active in the jewelry business, but I still have three attorneys on retainer because I have to have my trademark attorney, my patent, and my general.
Yeah.
So I have that. I have my accountant, and then I have my bookkeeper. So I have my CPA, the bookkeeper.
It's a team, a force.
It's a full force. And I used to call my consultants the force.
Yes.
May the force be with you. Because when we came through up in there, we coming. We go on a cruise, we take over the cruise.
Yes.
At night, we come in there walking. We get so many people to join our company because of how we walk. We took the ship.
I love that. I love that. The force.
The force.
The force. So have your financials together.
Have your financials together. I mean, I was audited, thank the good Lord, and I got a good team.
Yeah.
And that was early on when I was just starting to make money.
Yeah.
So I learned some good lessons very early. And from that, I got a team. And I was in my 20s, and I got a team as a result of that.
I love it.
So that was an important lesson.
Listen, y'all, keep the team tight, okay? Because you never know what is going to happen. Dr. Traci, this has been a really good conversation. And listen, I need y'all to tap in because I just know she didn't even give you a piece of all the things that she knows and the things that she has accomplished over the years. We could literally be here all day. This is a TV show. Yeah. We need to get a docuseries going.
Absolutely. I mean, we got a good 3 episodes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, before we even look at each other and say, now what we want to talk about.
Right.
A good 3 to 5 more.
Listen,
you know, because I'm sprinkling this, I'm putting that because I'm just trying to give your listeners, you know, and I love the Ghetto CEO podcast because this is where you can keep it real, and the expectation. We didn't have a chance to talk about what to talk about. We didn't have to worry about that because we always flow.
Yes,
we're together.
Yes,
and I want to give them real stuff beyond the veil.
Yep. So they can know, like, this is, and one thing that we hear all the time from our listeners is that, dang, I love that I'm not going through this alone.
Because nobody talks about these things. That's why I joined associations, because I needed to know I wasn't by myself.
Facts.
And then if you're listening to sometimes customers or other people, they make you think that you ain't doing it right. Especially me being a black woman.
Yep.
I had to outperform for customers and for my own consultants. You know, we black, so we can't do that. You know, we black. Well, listen, I've been black my whole life. I know I'm black. You ain't got to remind me of that. I'm already an overachiever. I had to be.
Right.
You ain't got to remind me about that.
Everybody got their opinion. So you had 100,000 opinions.
All day, all night.
Yeah. I love that, y'all. I hope y'all stay tapped in because listen, y'all gonna have to learn, okay, about Dr. Traci because, like I said, she has a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of stories that is really going to help you transform to your next level, your iconic level.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Ghetto CEO Podcast. Listen, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and go over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Leave a review because that's how we know that we're doing a good job. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Invoice in, that ain't ghetto. Money spin, oh, that's ghetto.